Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can pass the CFA Level 2 exam and the tips and tricks that helped me pass the exam and hopefully will be able to help you pass as well. First, I think it's really important to compare level 1 and level 2 and to think about what's the same between both exams and what's different between both exams, because there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. I would say the best study materials to use for the CFA Level 2 exam are consistent with CFA Level 1 in that you're going to be using the CFA official resources. So the books from the official CFA website and also the question banks and learning ecosystem, all from the CFA website. I don't think you need additional material from outside test providers for CFA Level 1, and I don't think you need them for CFA Level 2 as well. So that stays the same between Level 1 and Level 2. So another thing that stays the same for CFA Level 1 and Level 2 is going to be the calculator that you're using. The approved calculators for CFA Level 1 and Level 2 are the same, so you only have those few options that are listed on the CFA website. I would recommend sticking with the same exact calculator that you use for CFA Level 1, just because you're more familiar with how to use it and you already have some expertise in how to use it for CFA Level 1. So same calculator for CFA 1 and CFA 2, and I would recommend you stick to the same thing that you used last time. If you, for some reason, do need to relearn their functions, you can go back to my CFA Level 1 tips and tricks video and you can learn how I taught myself how to use a calculator, and it should be fairly quick for you to do so. Another thing that's going to stay the same between CFA Level 1 and CFA Level 2 is going to be the ethics portion and how you're going to study for it. I recommend leaving ethics for the end of your studying material just because you've gone through all of that quantitative work and the other subjects, and I feel like it's best to leave ethics for the end of your studying just because it's a little bit more dense of readings and it's a little bit more tricky to understand as opposed to plugging in formulas and working with numbers as most people in finance who are taking the exam are used to. So now I'm going to discuss what is different between CFA Level 1 and CFA Level 2 and how you should change the way you're studying and approaching the exam because they are not the same exam. So I'd say the first thing that is different amongst these exams and is a big difference is the level of difficulty. I would say the level of difficulty on the CFA Level 2 exam is a lot harder because there's just more content to learn. It's going a lot deeper and more in depth in the content as opposed to kind of just learning at it from a surface level. Another thing I felt that made Level 2 more difficult is that there's a lot more analytical thinking in Level 2. It's not just remembering formulas or remembering definitions. You have to know that, but you also have to learn how to analyze data and really work on those financial analytical skills which make you read more in depth and really go in depth into the material. So I think the level of difficulty of the exam is inherently more difficult than Level 1. So another thing that makes the exam more difficult that I was just saying is the fact that the format of the exam is different. So another big difference between CFA Level 1 and CFA Level 2 is the format of the exam. Level 1 exam is just freestanding questions, one multiple choice after another. But Level 2 is in an item set format, or what they call vignettes. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that word correctly, but pretty much it's just like an essay that you read that's a couple of paragraphs and then you answer a couple of questions related to that topic. My biggest tip for the item sets in Level 2, which is pretty much what everyone is scared of, I'd say always read the questions in the item sets before you read the passage, just so you kind of know what to look out for. If you see that there's a question on rate of return or Sharpe ratio, etc., you know what numbers to be looking out for. Take some time, practice a lot of vignettes, practice a lot of these item sets, and really get yourself familiar with how to read the passage and then answer the questions and really understanding the format, because I think that that's really key in passing CFA Level 2. Another key difference between CFA Level 2 and CFA Level 1 is the amount of time you need to study for the exam. So if you watch my video on my tips and tricks for CFA Level 1 exam, you saw that I mentioned that there's a kind of a golden rule in the CFA that you need about 300 hours to pass each level of the CFA exams. And for CFA Level 1, I believe I probably hit under 300 hours. I would say for level 2, you definitely need more than 300 hours and you definitely need more than 2 or 3 months. For level 2, personally, I spent about 5 months of direct study time. So I spent 3 months going over the material, reading all of the lessons from the books, and then 2 months of review and practice and questions and mock exams. So the amount of time that you're going to devote for level 2 is a lot more intense versus level 1 because the exam goes a lot more into detail and it's just a lot more difficult, unfortunately. So another big change in CFA level 2 is the amount of motivation you have. So CFA level 1 exam, it's your first level of the exam. You're kind of on a high. You're like, all right, I'm gonna give this a try. If I don't pass it, I don't have to retake the exams. Like, I don't even have to continue with the CFA program. That was my thinking going into it. So your skin in the game is very low for CFA level 1, and it's kind of, intermediate CFA level 2. You're like, I don't need to finish the program. I don't want you thinking like that. CFA level 2 is difficult to get through. The readings are intense. There's just everything about CFA level 2 was horrific. It was, I'd say, the worst exam for me I took. I think it was so hard to get through. But take each reading one step at a time, really give yourself a lot of breaks, and always remind yourself of your end goal. You want to become a CFA, you want to enhance your career in finance, you want to have those letters CFA behind your name, and keep that goal in your mind as you're dredging through and as you're studying through the CFA materials, because the motivation for level 2 can kind of be very difficult to keep up as you're going through the difficulty of studying it. So I get it, but definitely keep yourself motivated and stay focused on the end goal that you have in your mind. So another thing that helps me during CFA level 2 and pretty much all of my standardized testing is maintaining mindfulness practice. For me, that was meditation. I can post some videos about, my meditative practice as well. But I think that, having something that always refocuses you and brings you back into the present moment is really important, because this exam, especially, if you're taking about 5 to 6 months like I did, that eats up your whole year. It's a half year that you're taking out to study for this one exam, and it's just hard to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel with this exam, but I promise you it is there, and I wish you guys the utmost luck for your CFA level 2 exam. I hope these tips and tricks will help you pass, and I'm sending you all the best, and lots of luck for your CFA level 2 exam. I hope to be making more videos about my whole CFA journey, and hopefully I can share more tips and tricks on the whole process. And please let me know if you guys have any questions in particular about my CFA experience or any of the exams level 1, 2, or 3, and I'm happy to share with you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.